In Venezuela, self-declared President Juan Guaido named a new temporary board of directors for Citgo, the US-based arm of Venezuela's state oil firm. This is part of Guaido's attempt to wrest the OPEC nation's oil revenue from President Nicolas Maduro. The South American nation sits on one of the world's largest petroleum reserves, but oil output has been plummeting for years. Controlling the industry that is the backbone of its economy is key to the transitional government of Guaido. US President Donald Trump welcomed Colombian President Ivan Duque to the White House to discuss the ongoing situation in Venezuela. Duque is a right-wing lawyer and former senator who took office last August after a decisive election victory against a leftist opponent. The United States has stepped up pressure to drive Venezuela's socialist President Nicolas Maduro from power after recognizing opposition leader Juan Guaido as acting president last month. Christophe Dettinger, the former French boxing champion who punched riot police in a yellow vest protest last month, went on trial. Nicknamed the Gypsy of Massy, the two-time national light heavyweight champion was taking part in an eighth Saturday of anti-government protests that have undermined President Emmanuel Macron's authority. The demonstration began peacefully but turned aggressive as police fired tear gas to prevent protesters from reaching parliament. Dozens of wildfires tore through southern Chile, destroying scores of homes in the South American country. Local media reported there were 32 blazes active in diverse regions in South Chile. Another 48 fires were under control and 6 more had been put out. Many residents were surprised by the magnitude of the fire. Helicopters flew over the affected area, dropping water onto fires. A court in Moscow ordered the 8 of 24 Ukrainian sailors seized by Russia off the coast of Crimea last year to be held in pre-trial detention until April 24th. Russia seized the men and 3 Ukrainian Navy vessels on November 25th near Russian-annexed Crimea. Moscow accuses them of illegally entering Russian waters, something Kiev denies. Russia annexed the Crimean Peninsula from Ukraine in 2014, which triggered several rounds of international sanctions. Two Americans and a French citizen were among 13 people killed when a light aircraft crashed in Kenya's Great Rift Valley region. A Kenyan pilot and an unidentified man also died when the plane clipped a tree as it attempted an emergency landing and crashed in a field in Kericho County to the west of the capital, Nairobi. The Kenya Civil Aviation Authority said in a statement it had received a distress signal from the plane, which was flying from the Masai Mara Wildlife Reserve to the far north Kenyan county of Turkana just before it crashed. Tens of thousands of demonstrators blocked major roads in Buenos Aires as they marched to protest high unemployment and the policies of centre-right Argentine leader Mauricio Macri, including cuts to public utility subsidies. Average Argentines already struggling with high inflation and a recession have been hit by higher water, light and heating bills as Macri cuts government spending. The cuts fall under an agreement with the International Monetary Fund to erase Argentina's primary fiscal deficit by the end of this year. Spain could be headed for its third general election in less than 4 years. The parliament rejected the government's 2019 draft budget, bringing the country to the brink of a snap national election. The socialists hold less than a quarter of the seats in parliament and needed support from smaller regional parties, including the Catalans, to get the budget proposal voted through. But the Catalan parties are unhappy with the government's refusal to consider or discuss an independence referendum for their northeastern region. At least 9 people were killed in southern Peru after a truck swerved into a minivan in the oncoming lane. The crash took place at night on kilometer 15 of the Pan-American South Highway between Ilo and Tacna. The driver of the minivan died on impact. Some of the seriously injured were taken to local medical clinics for treatment. Deadly bus accidents are common in Peru, where transportation regulations are weak. Britain's Prince William, also known as the Duke of Cambridge, served food at homelessness charity The Passage in London. Kensington Palace had announced that William is to be the royal patron for the charity. William chopped carrots and served spaghetti to homeless people. The charity was set up in 1980 and is capital's largest voluntary sector day centre.
Have you found in the past a lot of people find it very difficult?
Nestle will sell Starbucks branded coffee at grocery stores and online in Europe, Asia and Latin America from this month as it seeks to increase its lead over rivals. After last year's $7.15 billion cash deal for exclusive rights to sell the US chain's coffees and teas, Nestle will start selling Starbucks labelled coffee beans, roasted and ground coffee and single-serve capsules. These will be available at grocery stores and online in 14 markets including Belgium, Brazil, Chile, China, Mexico, the Netherlands, South Korea, Spain and Britain, with more markets following later this year. Beijing saw a gold rush during the Spring Festival, with various jewelry stores across the Chinese capital seeing a spike in sales. The international gold price closed at $1,308 per ounce, up to 13% from 6 months ago. The price increase, along with the gift-giving customs of the Spring Festival, contributed to a sales peak in Beijing's gold market. The Lunar New Year holiday is a traditional high season for Chinese people purchasing gold products. This dog, named Kin, was the top dog in New York, posing high atop the Empire State Building after winning the Best in Show category at the Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show. King, a wire fox terrier, captured the most coveted prize at the two-day event at Madison Square Garden, besting challengers from all 50 US states and 14 countries. The competition drew 2,800 dogs from 203 breeds and varieties. The Westminster Kennel Club's show is the second oldest US sporting event, behind only the Kentucky Derby horse race. In a bid to strengthen bilateral cooperation, India and Sweden have signed a security protection agreement in Stockholm. The signing of the agreement will enable both countries to share classified information with each other. India's Minister of Defence, Nirmala Sitharaman, held a series of meetings with Prime Minister Stefan Löfven and the Swedish Defence Minister. Since 2009, Sweden and India have signed Memorandum of Understanding on cooperation in the area of defence. They have also subsequently conducted a number of bilateral meetings. At least 16 students were injured in an explosion at a school in Jammu and Kashmir. Witnesses did not report any clash before the blast in a 10th grade classroom at the Falai-e-Millat private school just south of the state capital Srinagar. Out of the 16 injured, 4 students were admitted to the district hospital, where the remaining 12 were taken to another hospital.